الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. أما بعد، فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا ومولانا محمد وبارك وسلم. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا سيدي يا حبيب الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا نبي الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا سيدي يا رحمة للعالمين. All praises of Allah, the Lord, Creator and Sustainer of the multiverse, the one who has given us the ability to once again come for Salatul Jumu'ah in His house in order to gain His closeness, in order to gain His pleasure, and in order to become one of His obedient servants. The topic of today is the current living crisis. We see that the council tax has increased. We see that the national insurance has increased. We see that the gas bill has increased. Electricity bill has increased. Inflation is skyrocketing. You go and you do shopping. What you used to pay before, you're not paying that much anymore. Now you're paying more. That shopping is costing you a lot more now. And petrol, Allah, everybody's going towards those smaller cars now. Instead of those big, massive Range Rovers, 4.4 litre, a Hummer which is over 5 litre, now people are going towards a smaller. 1.2 litre is better. 1.4 litre, 2 litre maximum. Before, people were slowly going towards 4, 5, if not more. We see expenses after expenses after expenses. But there's two parts to this, my dear respected brothers. This so-called living crisis that we are facing, there's two aspects to it. The first aspect, it is due to our own failure. We are being affected by it due to our own shortcoming, which is we are engaging in extravagance. We are living opulent lifestyles, a life of luxury. The second is that where a person's finances are such that there's nothing that they can do. There's nothing that the family can do. There's nothing that they can do. What they are receiving by working hard is just enough for them to survive, but rather not to live a comfortable life. I want to firstly discuss the first part. The new norm is for us to live a luxurious life. What we actually need is different. What we actually want is different. We need a roof over our head. We need a vehicle to travel. We need clothes to cover ourselves. But this is not enough. The house that we have is not enough. We need to have more bedrooms. The kitchen needs to be more nicer. There needs to be an open kitchen, American style kitchen. The extravagance is increasing. Same thing with vehicles, same thing with clothes, especially with the youngsters, teenagers, young adults. Buying a normal shirt, t-shirt, trouser from the shop is not enough. has to be Gucci. It has to be Versace. It has to be Nike. Otherwise, it is disrespectful to me. I can't be walking around without wearing Gucci. I can't be wearing this Pakistani make, this Bengali make, this piece of cloth made in Africa. No, I have to have the most expensive. Almighty Allah mentions in the Quran, in Surah Al-Isra, verse 26, وَلَا تُبَذِّرْ تَبَذِيرًا. Do not squander recklessly. Do not waste. Do not use what you have, the money you have, the wealth that you have, recklessly. You need to spend £10 for something, spend £10. Don't say, I want even better. Otherwise, what will the people say? What will my family say? If I buy this normal item, which I need, it does the job for £10. Instead of you buying it for £10, you're like, I need to buy this item for £50. So when my family comes over, they're like, wow, look at this item. Instead of buying what we actually need, what are we doing? We're spending more. Not spending more so that we ourselves can enjoy, but rather so that the people around us can praise us. So that the people around us can say, wow, if you want to see a house, look at so-and-so's house. If you want to see a car, look at so-and-so's car. If you want to see clothes, look at this person's clothes. Look at the three-piece suit he's wearing. No ordinary one, but rather special made. So instead of us doing that which we should be doing, rather we're going more and more and more into extravagance. This does not mean that we cannot live lives of comfort. We cannot, if Allah has given you the opportunity to have a nicer house, a larger house, a better car, nicer clothes that will last for a long time, there's no harm in that whatsoever. I'm not saying sell your houses and live in a small little flat or go live in a tent. Live comfortably. But ask yourself that what I have, is it enough for me? Or have I got 5 bedrooms which are just there, empty? 3 bedrooms which are just empty. When I could be driving a car which could benefit the environment, which could be greener, am I just polluting it for no reason? Do I need to be driving this 4x4, which is, let's say, 4.4 litre? Or could I be driving something which is better? Something which is going to cost me less in my fuel. Or if you can afford an electric car, can I just buy that instead of a petrol or diesel? These sort of things you have to judge yourself. You know what is good for the environment, what is good for you, and what is bad for the environment and bad for you. Remember, even though all of these expenses are going up, and they're not stopping, petrol probably will hit £2 per litre for diesel and for unleaded. All the other expenses will probably go up. But remember, if you start to live a lifestyle in which you're not wasting your money, all of a sudden you realize, oh wow, I've got a lot more money saved over now. Because in Shu'abul Iman, the hadith mentions that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Al-iqtisadu fi nafaqati nisful ma'isha. Moderation in spending is half of one's livelihood. If somebody is earning £2,000 net, but they're spending £2,500 per month, minus 500. Where's that 500 coming from? You're probably using up your savings, or you're borrowing. But if you have an X amount of money, £2,000 net for example, and you're spending 1,500, or you're spending 2,000, at least you're breaking even, or you're saving some money. So whatever Allah has blessed you with, whatever livelihood you have, whatever money that you have, live in accordance to that. Don't live in that dream world where you need to impress people, the friends, the families. No. Whatever Allah has given you, live in accordance to that. And when you have enough to survive, what's going to happen? Shaitan is going to make you fear that you're going to become poor. You may have 1 million, you may have 1 billion, you may have all the wealth in the world. Still, Shaitan is going to make you feel that you're going to become poor. This is why the Quran mentions in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 268, الشيطان يعدكم الفقر ويأمركم بالفحشاء والله يعدكم مغفرة منه وفضلا والله واسع عليم. The Shaitan, he frightens you. He frightens each and every one of us with poverty. No matter how much money you have, how rich you become, Shaitan is going to frighten you with the poverty. I have 10 properties, but what if I lose them? I have 10 million pounds, but what if it finishes? No matter how much you have, it's going to continue and continue. You can have the entire world, all the wealth, all the properties, all the land, everything whatsoever. Shaitan is still going to make you feel as if you may become poor again. You may lose everything. This is when the reliance upon Almighty Allah is not there, but rather a person is engaging in the dunya and gets sucked into the greed. Therefore, Shaitan is creating that fear inside that individual. But if a person relies on Allah, Wallahu ya'idukum maghfiratan minhu wa fadla, then Allah, what does Allah do? Shaitan, he is frightening you with poverty and commands you to engage in immorality because of that. But Allah, He promises to forgive you and to give you grace, to shower His bounties, to shower His favors. He will look after you. Wallahu wasi'un alim. And Allah is all encompassing and all knowing. He knows your condition. He knows if you are struggling or not. He will look after you. This is the first aspect. And then we have the second aspect, where a person is not living a life of extravagance, but rather things are difficult. The amount the person is getting, whether on benefits, whether by working a full-time job, whatever income the individual has, but with the expenses nowadays, that individual is truly struggling. That's when we have to turn to Almighty Allah fully. That's when we must understand that Almighty Allah is Wallahu khairur raziqeen. He is the best of providers, as mentioned in Surah Al-Jumu'ah verse 11. Wallahu khairur raziqeen. But mentioned in the Quran is وَمَنْ يَتَقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ وَمَنْ يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. In Surah Al-Talaq, verse 3, Almighty Allah mentions وَمَنْ يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. When things are difficult, you are trying. I'm doing the overtime. My spouse is also working. The entire family is engaging, but we truly are struggling. We're living on the minimum wage, but the expenses are truly too much. In that situation, وَمَنْ يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. If you truly submit yourself to Allah and rely upon Him truly, then He will suffice for you. He will resolve these issues for you. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam mentioned about the sustenance that each and every person is going to get. The provision each person is going to get. Whatever you're going to get has been set for you. No one can give you more, no one can give you less. Whatever is set for you. When was it set? The hadith mentions in Sahih al-Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, Inna ahadakum يجمع خلقه في بطن أمه 40 يوما نطفة ثم يكون علقة مثل ذلك ثم يكون مضغة مثل ذلك ثم يرسل إليه الملك فينفخ فيه الروح ويؤمر ب4 كلمات بكتب رزقه وأجله وعمله وشقي أو سعيد. The hadith mentions that each and every one of you, you were in the womb of your mother for 40 days as semen, and then for 40 days as a clot of blood, then for 40 days as a flesh of meat. At 120 days now you became a baby. So Almighty Allah sends an angel to go and to blow the soul into that child. And when the soul is blown into that child, the angel is commanded to write a few things. The first thing he's commanded to write is بِكَتْبِ رِزْقِهِ, exactly how much sustenance will that child get. The angel writes it down. Almighty Allah informs that angel, and it's written. No one can give you more, no one can give you less. No one can take away that which is going to come to you. But the angel also writes his lifespan or her lifespan, the child's lifespan. Secondly, the deeds that child will do, the good and the bad. And number 4, whether that child will be happy or unhappy. Whether he's going to or she's going to live a happy life or a life of sadness. This relates to mental health, which I can discuss some other day. So remember, it's written. No matter what you do, it's written how much you're going to get. So during this time, Allah knows what you need. Therefore, He will provide for you. And even if you run away from that which is written to you, it's going to come to you. The hadith mentions, which is mentioned in Hilyatul Awliya, that لو أن ابن آدم هرب من رزقه كما يهرب من الموت لأدركه رزقه كما يدركه الموت. If the son of Sayyidina Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, meaning the humans, if the humans were to run away from their rizq, from their provision, from their sustenance, the way people try to run away from death, the way death will ultimately come to them, their provision will also come to them. No matter what the situation is, the rizq is going to come to you no matter what. But my dear respected brothers, I want to mention this hadith, and if we live our lives in accordance to this, you will see these matters being resolved. In the hadith mentioned in Sunan Ibn Majah, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam said, Man kanat ad-dunya hammahu, farraqa Allahu alayhi amrahu, wa ja'ala faqrahu bayna aynayhi, wa lam ya'tihi min ad-dunya illa ma kutiba lah. Wa man kanat al-akhiratu niyyatahu, jama'a Allahu lahu amrahu, وجعل غناه في قلبه وأتته الدنيا وهي راغمة. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam said, the one who makes seeking the dunya, not the akhirah, the hereafter, not Allah, a person who prioritizes the dunya and he gets sucked into it and he seeks the dunya, Almighty Allah will make his affairs more difficult for that individual. He will scatter his affairs. And Almighty Allah will place poverty in front of his eyes. Whenever he sees anything, he sees poverty. He may be the richest person in the world, but he sees poverty. And then what? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that that individual, even though he's chasing the dunya, he will only have that of the dunya which has been decreed for him. However, one who prioritizes the hereafter, I'm doing everything for the hereafter. I'm working, providing for my family for the hereafter. Everything is for the hereafter. Almighty Allah will sort out all of his affairs and problems. Not only that, Almighty Allah will give him richness and contentment within the heart. Whatever he has, he will be like, Alhamdulillah, this is a lot for me. It could have been worse. Allah has given me so much. But not only that, that individual, because he's focusing on the hereafter, Allah will give him those things from the dunya. Even if the dunya doesn't want to come to him, Allah will force the dunya to come to this individual. So whatever we are seeking in this world, if we prioritize the hereafter, you will get everything in this world. But if we prioritize this world, we may get it, but we may end up displeasing Allah whilst trying to gain it. We may try and gain it, but we may never get it. This is why let's prioritize the akhirah. Allah will resolve these issues of society for us, and we will be able to live an obedient, sincere life to Almighty Allah. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا